It is June 2033. And we are at the MLB draft. And so I figured I'd do a quick team update and then show you the first few picks of the draft. We have 3 of the top 35 picks because we have 2 picks in the supplemental round because Luis Patino and Jesus Corrales rejected their qualifying offers and then signed elsewhere. So as you can see, O's are top team in the league with a 7-12 winning percentage at 42-17. Only 6-4 in our last 10. 600 balls not going to cut it around here. And expanded standings, you can see we're 3 below our Pythagorean win expectancy with 45 is what we'd be expected to win with our plus 148 run differential. Next best in the league is plus 78 here, the Cubs. So we are really significantly better than the next best team. We've had a bit of bad luck. You'll see that with some individual players too. Let's get to it. Lineups and depth chart. We're going to sort by WAR. You can see Ben Ortega and Julio Concepcion and Sal Stewart are the top 3. You notice no Armendaris or Maldonado. We'll get there. So Ortega's just lighting it up. 2.4 WAR, 134 runs created plus. So he's on pace for 6.5 WAR, which would beat his career best of 4.7. Then we've got Julio Concepcion following up his Rookie of the Year season with another really solid season. I mean, his Rookie of the Year season, I think I forgot to tell you guys this, but he only played in 113 games. He ended up finishing 5th in AL MVP voting. 6.3 WAR, he's on pace for 140 WRC+. plus. I also signed him to a long-term extension, as I do with the rule to give myself to not have players accept bad extensions long-term. If they're pre-arb, it has to be at least 8 years, $100 million, the Acuna extension. So he got 8 years, $121 million. The last year is a team option for $20 million or a $5 million buyout. So he's locked up for 8 years. He's 25 now, so we got him till he's about 33. And yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But I'm overpaying a little bit for his arbitration years and then underpaying him for his free agent years, which is my strategy with that. Sal Stewart, nice bounce back season at third base. Armendariz, a really good season by most people's standards. On pace for 4.5 WAR. Of course, his last 2 years he's been 6.1 and 9.2. WRC plus is at just 144 after being well above that the last 2 years. His strikeout rate is actually down. His walk rate is higher. Really, I think a lot of it's BABIP fueled. 303 BABIP each of the last 2 years, only 250 this year. I think if that moves up to around 300, you'd see his OBP, batting average, and slugging percentage, and all his batting stats be more around where you're used to seeing them. 41 home runs, only pace for already 88 runs batted in, which of course is more just a situational stat, necessarily a reflection on how he's played. But yeah, he's not been MVP caliber, but he's still been solidly an all-star level player. And then Victor Trujillo having the time of his life here, 120 WRC plus. He's normally around 90. Franco Sanchez just kind of doing his thing here. He's 26 now. He just seems to be a guy who's going to put about 3 WAR per season, playing a Gold Glove caliber center field and a little below average with the bat. Here's a good story. Omar Enriquez, the utility infielder, 9th round pick from 2026, and he's getting more and more playing time, and he has cooled off since he started playing, where he's gone 3 straight games without a hit. But he's on pace in only 253 plate appearances, put up 3.4 WARs. That's like over 7 WAR as a full-time player to be able to do that. 175 WRC plus. I don't think we'll keep that up, but he's been a nice bright spot for us, for sure. Sandoval, second baseman, has started to lose time to Enriquez at second base. He also plays short and third, so I'm not sure. He's kind of had his chance here the last couple of seasons to grab a starting job. I'm not sure he's ever going to be that. A pretty good utility player, I think. And then, of course, the moment we've all been waiting for, Bob Maldonado, just 0.4 WAR and just a 108 WRC plus from the guy who's collected a lot of hardware and accolades in his career. So a couple things here. His strikeout rate's up a little bit. Walk rate, here, I'll go to his career so you can see compared to that. Strikeout rate for his career, 8.4. This year, 9.2. Walk rate, 5.9%. This year, 5%. So not a huge drop, but a drop. WRC plus is way down. BABIP, career 322, just 284 this year. Yeah, so bad signs all around, but not like panic time. But yeah, he still leads the league in RBI, somehow 52, because he's just hitting in the middle of the best order in baseball, I guess would be why. And some concern scouting-wise, too. You can see it in the graphs over here. You can see it here. At the beginning, back in January of this year, he had a 55 power. My scout note has him as a 50. He had a 45 I. My scout note has him as a 35, and was a 75 overall, now a 60. He was an 80 overall at the end of last season on the 20 to 80 scale. So he's still got a really good avoid K, so I don't, that I doesn't bother me too much, but certainly seems like, I don't know, maybe he had a, what? And he had a 5-year run as one of the best players in baseball. And certainly I think he's going to be better than he's been so far this season. But if he starts to tail off a little bit, that's okay. Contract-wise, we're paying him 15, 16, and 16, and he's opt out. Unless he totally falls off a cliff, I'm assuming he'll opt out. But we'll see. It's only been a third of a season. I'm not too worried about him yet at this point, although the scouting stuff certainly is concerning. And then Angeletta has completely fallen on his face as the starting shortstop. On pace for his .7 WAR over a full season. Might need to make alternate plans there. That's the main position of concern. Salmel Salad as the backup catcher. O'Brien Fine as the fourth outfielder. DePaul as the fifth outfielder / pinch hitter. Has not done anything yet, but he's only had 19 plate appearances. Pitching has been a triumph. Donovan, Schilt, Caldera, Sanchez, Aguilar, all great. I mean, 2.82 ERA, 2.74 FIP. You can see this. Caldera's a 1.88 ERA, 2.97 FIP his first year as a full-time starter and on pace for 6.0 WAR. So all of our starters have been great. Aguilar's maybe been the only one who hasn't been amazing, but he's still on pace for 3.7 WAR, and he might be my worst starter so far. Moore has been very solid out of the bullpen. Correa, 6.00 ERA, but his FIP is 2.36. So that 489 BABIP is probably going to come down. And just like McKinley Moore's 149 BABIP will probably go up. Everybody else at the bullpen's been solid. Gomez and Voogd and long relief have been good. Anchetta, Groves, and Sosa as setup / middle relief guys have all been fine. And, Groves has only pitched 8 2/3, but he hasn't given up a run yet. But look at all these ERAs, all in the 1s, and then 1 in the 4s, 1 in the 6. But the guys with, Gomez, his FIP is 2 runs lower than his ERA. So these guys with high ERAs have just been unlucky. And team-wise, first in most categories, second in on base, 9th in walks, second in home runs, but first in most things in the AL. Same thing with the pitching side of things, 5th in bullpen ERA, 4th in BABIP. Defense were 2nd and 3rd. So pretty good, man. Pretty good season. Obviously some interesting storylines with Concepcion and Ortega leading the way. What's going on with Bob Maldonado. But, we'll see how that plays out over the course of a full season. Let's go ahead and get to this first-year player draft. Show you the draft order. We're picking 31st overall. Somebody didn't sign their first-round pick last year, so they have a second first-round pick, so that's why there's 31 instead of 30. And then we pick 3rd and 4th in the supplemental round. Let's go ahead and see how this goes. Let's see who the first 3 picks are. So Toronto has the first pick, and they pick this guy, Chris Mcfadden. Oh, a two-way player. My scout thinks he's a 65 overall as a pitcher. OSA is him a 75. Wow. I mean, he's a college pitcher who looks pretty good. He has 3 pitches, and also he's a two-way player. He can play some corner outfield probably. His bat, I don't know, I might like him better as a bat than an arm. But an above-average starter probably better than would definitely more valuable than an above-average corner outfielder. So that's the first pick. And then the Dodgers picking second. They've had a bad run the last couple of years. And they pick center fielder Jerry Moreland, 50 overall according to my scout, 65 according to OSA. I mean, this guy is a college bat, good work ethic, and he can definitely play center field for you. So I like that pick. That's a good pick. I didn't look at the whole draft board, but that's a guy who can, with that potential with the bat, who could play center field for you right now. Pretty good. Glove-wise, he could. And then the Phillies pick right fielder Todd Thompson. This guy's a corner outfielder. Never loved picking corner outfielders that high in the draft, but I've done it myself. Really good bat. 50 overall. OSA thinks 60. He's 21. That's a solid pick. I don't remember seeing him on the mock draft. Oh, he's projected to go second. Okay, there he is. All right, so now I'm going to go up to my next pick, which is 31st overall. Who's our scout think we should take? Okay, so Josh Bethia, a shortstop. Bonus demand just $700,000 for a slot of $2.3 million. He's 18 years old. Oh boy. Yeah, so this is an interesting guy. 18 years old, so the floor obviously still incredibly low. He could like never play out of A-ball possibly if he doesn't develop. Love that he can actually play shortstop. You know, that arm and double play, I don't love, but range, I factor range way more heavily than anything else. He could be a good shortstop. He could be a great second baseman. He could probably fake it as a third baseman with that 60 arm. Let's see, ratings-wise. I mean, he might be able to fake it as a corner outfielder, but no real value there. The avoid Ks is concerning. So is the contact and the eye, all below average, and some of them terrible. That the power bat at shortstop, though, is really enticing. A guy who can definitely play shortstop and hit for that much power. That, you know, 31st overall, you're going to be getting a player with some warts and some concerns, right? He wouldn't have fallen to 31st if he was a sure thing. So this is who my scout thinks is the top starter left. His bonus demand is like $2 million over slot at $4.8 million. He doesn't have a third pitch developed yet, and he's already 21. Not crazy about him. And then let's check all the batters. So Bethia is pretty much his second best batter. He's also got this guy, Jeff Hanley. No, he's not a center fielder. He's listed as one, but he's a corner. What about on the infield? Yeah, I mean, he's a corner outfielder. So, and he also could totally bust out. He might have a bit of a higher ceiling than Bethia, but given Bethia's position, I prefer Bethia. Then we've got this guy, Mike Brooks. Nope, I prefer Bethia's ceiling here. You know, that avoid Ks and contacts is really concerning, but very competitive, high work ethic. I just think there's a lot to like about this guy here. Even, you know, there's a good amount of risk with that bat, but the boom scenario is just awesome with him. I'm not even going to look at this guy, first baseman with low work ethic and intelligence. No. All right. Hey, Tristan Holden. So this guy's a DH, and he's 17. Great bat, but not picking a DH here. So and here's another shortstop in the mix. Nope, I like Bethia better. And let's look at this last 45 guy. Nice bat, but he's a DH. So, yeah, I like this Josh Bethia pick. We're going with it. Now we're going to go to our next pick, which is supplemental round. First supplemental round, this is what you either got for Corrales or Patino. This is the 35th overall pick. And our scout says to pick Tristan Holden. Bonus demand well under slot. But man, I mean, like, cool, yeah, that bat's good, but dude, you're 17 and you're a DH already. He's got good work ethic. I mean, he could be Bob Maldonado Jr. if he develops. Not really, though. You have to grow into that a bit. I don't mind this guy's bat here in this spot. I mean, he's a corner outfielder, which I don't love, but what do we have going on pitching-wise? So Nate Lindsay is still here. Lindley. $4.8 million is a bit high, I think, for where he's at developmentally. Steve Connors don't love the low work ethic. Jeremy Duncan is, low intelligence, don't love that. But he's already got 3 pitches that are developed enough that he could, he could be a starter, right? So sometimes it's concerning when guys don't have a third pitch developed yet and they want starter value for them, and so that's good on him. Low work ethic guy, no thanks. Then we're on to Tim Slane. Just looking at the starters here. Don't love him. Kai Small. He's got a decent bat actually. Good work ethic. Don't mind that guy. All right, so that's the end of the 50s. I don't know, honestly, I kind of like this guy, Jeremy Duncan. I like him better than this, much respect to Tristan's last name, but I don't know, man. Like, low intelligence and you're DH at 17. And Lindley, I just don't like how bad his changeup is. He might never develop that. And so I think I'm going to go with this guy, Jeremy Duncan. He does have low intelligence. I don't love that, but I think I like his value overall better than the other guys. So we're going to go with him. Oh, his bonus demand is 4? It said he wanted slot. Right here it says slot. That's no fun. What's up with that, Jeremy? I don't know. I had the budget room to do it, so I'm still going to take the guy that I like the most. So junior college out of East Carolina. Oh, college junior. Never mind. I was going to say East Carolina is not a junior college. So 20-year-old Jeremy Duncan. We're going to pick him. Don't love it, but always good to add good starting pitching depth to the system. Welcome aboard, Jeremy. I believe we have the next pick, too. Yeah, we do. And he wants Tristan Holden again. I really don't want to pick that guy, dude. Tony Moreno is just a reliever. What if I say, give me a shortstop? Mike Brooks. Yeah, not really feeling that. Don't see enough of a ceiling there. Love the defense, but the bat just isn't that great. Center field. Jonathan Gregory. I mean, great glove. Range is awesome. He could play center field. Can't play anywhere in the infield. Really fast, good work ethic. I'm a sucker for guys who yep, he could, if they have 3 pitches already as a starter, or they can play, their range allows them to play shortstop or center field. I kind of gravitate towards those guys because what's the best way to sum it up? Because basically, if this guy was just a corner outfielder, I wouldn't really care about him. But if he could develop to this ceiling and play center field, he's maybe a 4th outfielder for me, which isn't a bad value to get in the supplemental round. He could always develop better than that. Let's see. Starting pitcher-wise, who does he recommend? So Nate Lindley, who wants $2 million over slot. I just don't like him at 21. I like that he has good work ethic, but I don't like him at 21 with this nonsense of a nothing changeup. Yeah, he's not the guy I'm going to pick. One thing I want to check is guys with really good movement potential. That plays very well in Camden Yards. And I just want to look at starters. I'm not going to draft a reliever right now. So Lindsley, 55. All these other guys are not really good enough elsewhere. This guy's interesting if he had even an ounce of stuff. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's not really a guy that I'm super excited to draft here. Chris Marsh at second base. I don't mind him, and he's from Baltimore, Maryland. Hey-o. So he's from Baltimore, Maryland. That's a plus, hometown kid. But he's only a second baseman or a first baseman there. Looks like he might be able to play some outfield. Yeah, so he's second, third, left, right field. He's got a decent floor. The ceiling is not all that high, but I don't know. His floor is pretty high. Good adaptability. I don't know. I really don't mind that guy, surprisingly enough. Any good catchers out there? There's just not anybody jumping out to me here of this must be the guy that I take. Any good third baseman? I don't really want to take a third baseman. Guy's probably going to hit a lot of home runs. So basically at this point, I think it's take a center fielder, a shortstop, or a starting pitcher. I like this guy fine. His avoid Ks could average out his eye to where he could be a major league hitter with this poor eye if his avoid Ks develop. And he could play a really good center field and a gold glove left or right field. So getting that kind of floor is exciting. Not exciting. It's decent. Work ethic, very good. So that, that's kind of my leading guy, I think, Jonathan Gregory. Shortstop was Mike Brooks. Not all that interested in him. I mean, pretty similar player in some ways. Pretty similar. And he's only 18. Doesn't have the good work ethic, though, so I think I prefer the center fielder because of the work ethic. And then the only other thing is this Baltimore boy, second baseman. Pretty interesting guy, but his bat's going to need to develop fully, at least. Yeah, really, I kind of like this guy, but I'm going to go with the center fielder, I think, just because of the positional stuff. Well, that's a little concerning, is that my scout has come down on him a bit. Had him overall at a 50 at one point, now he's a 40. That seems to be mainly eye and maybe a little power related. Everything's down a little bit. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm going to go with the second baseman. I think I like his floor better. He can play a decent second base, a decent corner outfield. He's not going to play anywhere else. He's 22. Yeah, I'm going to take this dude, actually. Chris Marsh. All right, so we'll do one more pick. Well, let's see if the center fielder is still there for us. Let's go. Our scouting director recommends this guy, high school starting pitcher. Oh, that's not bad for a high school starting pitcher at this point in the draft. He looks like a decent player if he develops. Obviously, high school starting pitchers, so much risk. What do we have hitting-wise? Is that our guy? Is this the guy we're looking at? Who the hell is this guy? This guy's still out there? Oh, impossible signability. Gotcha. Okay. I was like, what? I could not understand why this dude was still there. It's because he's not going to sign anywhere. Let me go back to my default so I can see that. Yeah, impossible. Okay. And yeah, so it looks like that other center fielder went. This guy isn't bad. He's not really going to be able to play center field, though, other than maybe as your backup. But he could be a corner outfielder. Good work ethic. Really good bat. Potential. I kind of like this guy. Can't play the infield, but, I mean, he's 17, so obviously there's a lot of risk involved. But to be honest, the starting pitcher might be the move here. This high school starting pitcher. An average starting pitcher is harder to come by than an average corner outfielder. That's kind of my tiebreaker here, and why I'm going to go with Tim Slane, I think. Let me just make sure I'm not missing an obvious shortstop pick. Jordan Rogers. No, that's not an obvious pick. Yeah, I'm going to go with that starting pitcher. Going to go with Tim, the Alchemist Slane, and hope that he develops. You know, he's only 18. He's committed to go to Oregon State. Well, we're going to sign you, dude. Yeah, his bonus demand was not bad. We'll sign him. All right, so we're going to stop it there. June 6th, 2033. Those are 42 and 17. I don't know, maybe I'll come back before the trade deadline or maybe right after to let you know what I did. But let me know what you think of those draft picks.